Okay, so after I have double-clicked for all 5 ABR files, the moons, the Shishido, Star Stealer, Shishido Star Sign, trees, and trees, then I'm going to get started on my direction. So the first thing that we're going to do after we have downloaded these ABR files is go to Photoshop, open up Adobe Photoshop, and then we're going to start with a new document instead of opening a file. So I'm going to go to Create New. I'll wait for a second. I'm going to do about a minute of wait time while we get Photoshop fired up. And instead of opening, this time we are creating a new one. So you'll go to Create New.
We just do the default.
Hold on, not yet, because we're going to actually do letter. Give me 30 seconds. We're going to go to letter mode, so Create New. We're going to go to Print, Navigate instead of Recent, Saved, Photo. Click on Print. We're going to use an 8.5 by 11 landscape. So your 11 inches will be your width, 8.5 inches for your height. Now resolution, if we were going to print this, because obviously that's what we clicked. Okay, is resolution of 300 good for printing or web?
Web.
Printing, because that was probably a trick question because we clicked on print. The more pixels, the heavier the resolution, that's more of a print. That will also make our file really large. So I'm going to go ahead and choose, just because we're going to put it on our blog, on a 72 of resolution. The other really, really important option is I want us to get in the habit of choosing transparent in background. So underneath there, instead of white, let me go Create New. Instead of white, I want you to use your pull down there, right here, and get into the habit of choosing transparent because we want to design with the most flexibility. So in the end, we have no idea if we need a light background, white background, whatever we need to do. Our client kind of drives that conversation. So we design as a transparent so we can make it whatever we need in the end. So we have this like blank slate underneath. Okay. Go to landscape here. Right here. And it's because we're going to make it like this. Now, here's where the deal. So use your pull down and then choose transparent instead. Do that every single time, okay? Then click create. So we have 8.5 by 11, which is a landscape orientation. We have 72 resolution, and we also have transparent. Then I'm going to click on create. Okay, now you'll see my document is not as large as I would like for it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my zoom tool on the bottom left, almost all the way down on the bottom left of the toolbar. I'm going to click twice. Click, click. Then toggle with your space bar. What does your cursor do when you toggle with your space bar?
It spaces.
It does a hand. So then I can click and drag and rearrange where my window is. Okay, I'm coming over.
Is the width 11? Or is
Width is 11 because we're going to do a landscape. Yeah, if you click here, it should. Yeah, that'll take. Yeah, you got it. And then transparent. Perfect. Then so width is going to be 11.
No, I switched it to.
There you go. That's right. Okay. Awesome. Okay, thank you. So I did a click, click to zoom in. I did a space bar to get my hand tool to then position where I need this to go. A couple things. Everyone go get your layers panel. Everyone go up to window and down to layers if you do not see the layers panel. Up to window, down to layers if you do not see the layers panel. Up to window. Down to layers. There you go. Oh, whoops, do it one more time because we had that showing already. I thought.
I say I'm the biggest fan.
Good. Now, see the layers panel bottom right. Now, again, for maximum design flexibility, I'm going to get into a habit of creating a new layer before we get started. Not quite yet. So, everyone, do a Command-Shift-In Command Shift N, and this is your new layer dialog box. You can also go down to your layers panel to click the plus sign. Command Shift N creates a new layer. Command Shift N.
Nothing's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so now you should have 2 layers in your layers panel. We're going to leave that bottom layer for just like an oh no, if everything else goes wrong, we always have a new layer underneath there. The second layer, we're going to start making the sky. So we're going to start with, I'm going to go ahead and show you the directions. This is going to be the end game. So you're going from your blank slate to this really cool starry night sky. So the first thing we're going to do is put a color block of the gradient underneath there. So I'm going to navigate back to Photoshop. I'm going to go to the gradient tool. Left hand side, hover hold on what's called the paint bucket tool to the gradient tool. So hover hold on paint bucket to navigate to gradient. Now these tools are responsive. So when I click on gradient on the left hand side, these options populate on the top.
Wait, do you want paint bucket mode?
So you just want the gradient for right now. I'm going to show you how to change your colors in a second. So click on the gradient tool, and then there are 2 options on this square. I can either go to my pull down and look at all of these different options. I can expand. So Photoshop gives me lots of options. I can also simply click in the color block of the gradient, and I can do my own custom gradient for a gradient editor. Okay, it's totally up to you. But for now, for ease of use, there's a gradient that works really, really well. If you use your pull down for the blues, it's called the blue _ 30. If you hover hold your mouse over the gradient for a half a second, it will pop up what gradient it is. So I'm using blue _ 30. It's towards the bottom.
This is third or last.
Third to last. Thank you.
I don't see that panel.
So if you click on gradient on the left hand side,
So we can't do any else.
yes, so click on
No,
gradient.
let's look at the keys.
Now, if you use your pull down. Now, if you click your pull over, your carrot here, expand. So click on this little arrow right there. Yes, and then make that bigger. Photoshop likes to put everything in the tiniest little windows, but have a million different options in that tiny window.
How do you do it?
So can we, they are only allowed to do grades, is that right?
You can do whatever you like.
Speaking of doing whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I was
awesome.
messing around with the gradients and a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, you can do, and then don't forget you have your custom gradient editor there.
I was trying to, because whenever I tried to do grading with this one, but it wasn't like if I figured
You can do a new gradient there.
yeah, but I was also just trying to change this one, like change the colors.
It is rock.
And I don't think it would allow you because it's the default right there. So you can make a new gradient, click in there, and then make a new gradient and then name it another.
It's probably the same.
Okay. Uh-huh. Okay, what else?
I'm doing this.
I think so.
Good job.
Sorry, but.
Oh,
That's what you doing, Ralph?
Okay, so click on the carrot down to the right there. Uh-huh. And then click on the arrow to the left of blues. Click on the arrow. There you go. Scroll down to the bottom. Okay, anyone else need help locating blue _ 30? Okay, Photoshop filed a new. You want to hand out?
I do more buttons.
Okay, create new. Okay, let's put your devices away. Then I'll let you. Thank you. Let me get a couple handouts.
That's one of the
So once you have chosen blue _ 30, then all you have to do is take your mouse and hover hold in the middle of the screen and then click and drag to the bottom. It's really up to you how in depth you want to go. So I'm going to do a click and drag. Oh, that's not bad. I don't mind that on the first try. This is like the 4th time I've done it though. So
My pen just went black.
I like sitting down.
Okay, see, we have,
I don't like laying down.
you have black and white. Let's go get the blue gradient here. I have this one over. Now do a click and drag.
Do you have any younger brother?
There you go. Now you can decide how much darkness you would like to the twilight. I'm going to leave it as is. This is what it looks like when I start on the top of my screen. That's not enough. This is I think that's too aggressive of a line. So I'm going to come right here in the middle. That makes this nice. So when I click on my gradient tool and I have my blue _30 selected, I'm literally just going to click and drag. Okay, now we do have to make sure on your options panel that we're choosing the first option, linear gradient. Linear gradient. Okay, if you just want to look and see real quick while we're waiting, you can try all of the different kinds of gradients. This is diamond, but I'm going to go ahead. There we go. That's my good line right there. The moon that has the glow? Sure. Or, Gwen, if you stay with me here, we're going to put a glow on the moon. Does that make sense? We're going to add in a glow after. But I'm okay with that. That's if you want to do that for sure. Okay, so we have made a new layer. We have learned how to do a custom gradient. If we want to make a custom gradient, I simply click inside the gradient. And then these are what are called color stops. Let's say for some odd reason I wanted to add white in here also. I could just click to add a stop, double click in it, and I could add any color I wanted. For some reason, if you needed a red, white, and blue gradient to put in the sky, who knows why I would need that. But I just want to add in here how I can do a color gradient. If you've realized that we've really gotten a pickle with this, I can simply click this color stop and delete, and I'm back to where I started. So when you say gradient editor, that's what Photoshop is talking about, that gradient editor. Okay, if you're following along, we are now on step number 4. We're going to load those brushes. So this is where I really need your attention because it's not difficult, it's just detailed, which is a lot of this. This is not difficult, it's just detailed. So everyone click B on your keyboard, or you can go to your brush, which is about 7 options down. We're going to go to your brush tool. And again, this tool is responsive. So when I click on my brush tool, the options for this tool pop up on the very top. Opacity, flow, meaning how dense it is, how smooth is it, what is the mode, and then also what the brush preset picker is. This is the arrow that I need you guys to click in now. So click on brush on the lower left-hand corner on your options toolbar. Then click on the brush picker, which is the second arrow over. And now Photoshop hides so many awesome things inside this little gear icon. So I need you to click on this pull down and then click on the gear icon and then import brushes. And I will say this a couple times and I'll go around and help. So we clicked on the caret, then I clicked on the gear, and then I went to import brushes. From here, this is where you will navigate to find all of your ABR files and then just click open. So navigate to where all of those 5 ABR files are and click open. And I'm going to come around in case you have questions. Okay, so we're going to go brush, good. Now go to this pull down.
This one?
One more over.
Oh.
Yeah, and then your gear, and then import. Now, go navigate to find, go back to your downloads or desktop where you found, oh good, you can just actually click and drag all of them, go on the bottom. Just click to select them all, go to the very bottom, come down here and just click and drag them.
It's just
Yeah, just like that. You can open them all. Okay,
That's
yes.
what- I don't have this in the graph.
Go one more option over.
Third gear.
One more. This one. And then gear. And then import. You can tap to drag all of them you have available.
What's the second?
One more over. Go to the brush preset picker. There you go. There's the gear. Yes, there are two. One is the basically the kind of brush, and then the brush preset for that kind of brush is the next one over. So go one more over here. Then one more over to the gear. Then to the gear.
Wait, where did you get that?
And then go to where we saved it.
Probably.
Now, yeah, so then you can click to drag all of those. And then open. You can click to drag all of them at once. Okay, good. Now, you're just click and drag from the top to the bottom. I don't know how I do it. You can try making your colors darker, changing them on. It's totally up to you. Okay? Okay, where did Ben go?
Yo, who was that?
Okay, brushes, if you guys download brushes. Okay, awesome. Okay, so now let's do gradient here. Do your brushes. Okay.
Brushes.
Well, go here, please, let's leave phones down, okay? So let's go back to Photoshop. Because it's the ones we downloaded earlier. Did you download this from Google, the Google Drive? So download those AVR files and come back. Okay,
Where do you work?
Rex, how's it going?
My Mac was just started.
Oh, okay. So go through, did you download the brushes? Did we come back? Do you go through your steps?
Where do we get it?
Go to the brush tool, or down, and then go to the pull down there, and then the gear.
Huh?
And then
Oh, yeah,
import.
look at this.
Okay.
Is that a real place?
Yeah.
All right. So after we have navigated to go on the Finder to where you believe you had all of those folders, those brushes, then you will see them actually populate inside your brush. So now, once we click on the brush tool and then go to that brush preset, look underneath the general dry media, wet media, special effects, you should see the folders of the Shiseido Starshine, the Shiseido Star Sealer, the trees foliage, the trees, and the Moonstar Sparkles brushes. So do me a favor, use your carrots and expand those brushes. And then I'm going to show you how you can edit the brushes. So scroll to the bottom, underneath the general wet media, special effects, those brushes should have populated in your brush picker preset.
Oh,
You know, after they get to space, like, it disconnects and engages.
Now, fun fact. I see, Kelly, I'll be right there. Fun fact. Your brush will draw the color of your foreground. So everyone looking up on my screen, I know it's super tiny. What color is my brush going to draw now if I have my foreground as is? It's going to be white. I do not want white trees for my twilight. So I'm going to navigate to either this really dark black, or I'm going to go to like almost a midnight. Still not quite, but very, very dark. I'm going to go to a very, very midnight color. Then I'm going to come to my trees and pull my brush over. Now, you can decrease or increase the size of your brush using your brackets to the right of on your keyboard to the right of the P. So I can increase my trees, or I can decrease my trees. So what I would like for you to do is make a little grove of trees. Doesn't have to be exactly this, but this is the example. You're going to make a little grove of trees, and then we're going to add in the bottom. So for example, I'm going to make this a tall tree. So I'm going to even go a little larger, and I'm going to make this a tree in the back. And I'm gonna come down a tiny bit more, and then I'm gonna come a tiny bit, and I'm gonna start with my forest. Now I need to go get different sizes and different trees to really layer up this awesome forest. I even might make my trees, this is even a little smaller, too small. I can even change the opacity. Instead of 100%, I'm going to go down to 50%, and I'm going to put some trees that make it look like there's a layering to this forest also. Okay, so back to your website where we downloaded these. They didn't download. This one's on desktop. Let me see. Click on download. Yeah, you're right. So let's go ahead and hop over here to Google in the game plan and scroll down. Let's go to the folder one more time. Let's download these 5 files one more time. Okay. So let's go navigate to find where we saved them. Click on documents, no, download. I see them. So now just choose all of them and open. Okay. Oh, that's okay. So you will, if you don't love what you do, there's a couple different things. We can go to the history panel. So you're good. Go scroll down and find the folders with the trees. See, to expand that. So you can go to the history panel. If I don't love this, I can go window to history. And I can go to my different brush tools. It saves the last 68 presets by default. I can also, in order to design with the most flexibility, I can keep adding new layers. Let's say these are mid-sized trees. And then maybe I'm going to come in and make another mid-sized tree layer. I'm going to make some layers here, some layers here. Use your carrot over. There you go. Click once. And then choose a tree. Bring your no, you just have to click on it. It's like a stamp. So click once, then bring your mouse over here. There you go. Now you can make your brush bigger to make bigger trees. So instead of clicking and dragging like a brush, if you will, in painting, we are stamping. So you make your brush bigger to make the tree bigger. Or, that's a great question. How do you make your tree bigger? You can make your brush larger. Or if you make a new layer, and I only put like one tree on that layer, you can then Command T. And you can rotate, mirror, do whatever you need to. Okay.
I'm like only able to download.
Okay, did you try to? So let me see what it says when you do that.
It just goes spinning.
Alright, let's close this page out. There we go. Try to get back in. So here's, we'll do a workaround real quick. These stars are not like super special. You can literally go like to go in and brushy type in moons here. And then brushes. You can search for brushes. And then like just go grab a new brush. Okay. And then you can do the same with stars. But you have to go kind of find that ABR file that like goes within the picture. Okay, just navigate and find that. You're good. So click open. Did you do all of those files? Did you download the files? And did you open every single ABR file this way? Did you click open for all of these? Okay, it did. It just looks funny. If you scroll down, you're going to see that populates. That populates right there. Yep, and use those pullovers. Okay, so we're going to make a little grove. So far, I have some tall trees. I like that one tree. Now, then I have some smaller trees. I'm going to make some mid-sized deciduous trees inside there.
I can delete things.
You go back in your history panel, window to history, and then look at all those states. If you can't see that many states, then change the size of your window. So I'm gonna then go to my mid-sized tree, and then next thing I want you guys to watch me demo my mid-sized tree, only because I'm gonna show you that you can change. Okay, I'm gonna do this one. So I can change the different settings of my brush. So if I want to change the settings of this particular tree sample brush number 11, I could click into the brush settings panel, and I could even on the left hand side, I can change the size, I can change my spacing. If I need a couple trees, if you knew you needed like a really straight line of a grove, you could do that. You could go through and change the noise. You could change the shape dynamics, how much it scatters, etc. But now I'm going to go ahead and increase my opacity a little more. And then I'm going to add in some deciduous trees in between all of this. And of course I'm going to bleed off one of the trees.
Download the file first.
Download the ABR.
Yeah.
You just download it and then you go to add it.
Where's it from?
Really download.
It doesn't have.
I'll be right back. So if you go to your brush tool, click on your brush tool. Now go to the second caret over to the right of 13. Yes, click, and then go to your gear on the upper right hand corner of that window. Then go to import brushes. Keep going down. And then you're going to now on the left hand side, go to like documents or downloads. Click on the wherever you saved it. Let's see. Did you save it on your desktop?
No, wait. I don't know where to get it from.
Oh, it's in Canvas.
Where?
Go to the game plan. The second file down. Keep going down to today's date. See where it says brush folder to download, and then double click. So go double click all those 5 and do that same thing that we just did. Okay, so now.
I want to delete this big one.
Oh, okay. So go window to history. Go get your history panel. Okay, see how you make this larger. Make that click and drag. There you go. See how it saves all your states? You can just come back into that.
I'm alright.
So the history panel saves your last 68 states by default.
So I have 2 questions.
Is it
Like this is a zip file.
Oh yeah. So you unzip it first in Finder. To go into Finder. And actually, if you just you go find that zip file. Where would it be? Like maybe desktop.
Wait, so it's how many holes?
Go to download. Oh yeah. And
No,
zip
how
it,
many,
and then it's gonna populate a
strokes
folder.
above are you?
Most likely.
Oh,
right.
So there it is. Okay, now double click on
Okay,
APR.
that's
Oh, that's okay.
and it like
That's
looks at
cool.
an average index and like calculates based on.
So if you shoot like a 74, you got like a 2 maybe.
Now
Yeah,
go
but
ahead and
like
go on
it
and
also
brush
depends
and
on how
see
much
if
it
it pops
forces.
in.
Yeah.
Because there's like a whole system.
And go
of
and then go to here.
But yeah,
Where do you play at?
what's Dub's
Bring
red?
in. Okay.
Dub's red, it's up north.
I
And
play
then
at
just
this.
scroll down to the bottom.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so weird. It's so crazy. I mean,
Do you know how
the
much
amount
it's
of files and how they do it, and it knows what to do with it is crazy. Okay. All right.
I should maybe like.
Well, go keep going back.
Or like, I don't know, 15.
That's not bad at all.
20, yeah.
And then I could just change the size.
You can change the size. Yeah. Let's not change the color yet. I just messed with the opacity. Oh, it's okay.
That's not
Yeah, it's okay to change it. Yes.
Get the email valid, that'll be so
So you're gonna change your brush size. That will increase.
They're good, yeah.
That's so tall. It's so big that you need to go less than 2,000 pixels. So keep going up to like 1,000. Let's see where. Okay, let go.
They would get these, so that'd be.
So do that. So select this, go to the size, and then go straight to your artboard. Okay, now do your size. Okay, now straight to your. Now, click on it, it'll work. Yeah, see how it's so big there, Gwen? Now Command Z to undo that. Now go a little smaller, and then do that. No, it's not like that. No. We have no name calling, even of yourself or your projects. I just listened to a podcast about that. All right, so we just did number 4, where we loaded our brushes and used our brushes, step number 4. Then step number 5, we painted in our trees. We used a stamping technique. You can add in more layers. Something that I'm not great at, but I'm trying to become better as a designer, is renaming those layers. When you do a Command-Shift-N, describe the layer. I'm going to double click to say background with large trees. So now I know which layer is which. I'm going to do a Command-Shift-N again. And I'm going to keep adding in a moon. So we're now on step 6 if you're following along. Okay, now, do I need a dark moon? Maybe so, but in my demonstration, I'm going to make my moon white. So the first thing I have to do is check out my foreground and background color. For right now, I have a black foreground, which means if I went to my moon and put my moon on there now, it would actually be a black moon. So I'm going to go ahead and click X to switch my foreground and background colors. Or I can simply navigate to click the white or the top one active, click on white, and then click OK. Then I'm going to go back to B for my brush tool on my keyboard. Go to my Options toolbar on the top. I'm going to click to expand my brush settings. Scroll down to where I find the very bottom on mine is the moon, stars, sparkles, and brushes. I'm going to scroll down, and then I will choose. Now that's way too large. I'm going to choose which moon I would like. It's completely up to you which moon. This is kind of a cool moon, I think. Whoa, that's huge. And because it's the only thing I have, I can actually make it larger or smaller. But it doesn't really make sense. Yeah, that doesn't make sense, so I'm going to undo that. I'm going to still go to this half moon and make it a lot smaller. There we go. And here's like a glow. That's still a little large.
Is it restroom?
Uh-huh.
They unlocked it here.
Oh, yo,
Are they?
what are these moons? Why are they so big?
So they just come in a default of really large. I'm not loving this. I'm actually going to go back and do a different moon. I'm just going to do a full meal deal moon.
I don't want that.
So you can change the size of your bracket, changes the size of your moon. And then we'll be adding a glow around it. So for right now, take about 2 minutes to look through all of the different options.
You want something?
So look through all of the different options of the moon. Make sure your foreground color is a light color. And then create a moon. You can do X on your keyboard, which is a shortcut for switching the default colors. White's not the default color.
Wait, how do you change the color of the moon?
Well, you just click and Okay, let's see what. Okay, so click once with your mouse. Now move your brush. Add a layer. You've got that. It is your white color. Let's get rid of that layer. Just click and drag it to the trash can. There's a tiny little trash can on the bottom. Okay, now just click Command-Shift-N again.
I asked you for help. Ew, my things are downloading, so would you get over?
Yo, why is my moon black?
This charger. So you do.
Warren, how do I do the background?
Maybe it's through the gradient fill. So instead of the gradient fill, do the gradient and maybe get that.
Oh,
So
no.
click on that white square and then click on the trash, like go down to the trash.
Oh, I
Click
didn't
the
tell you.
side.
Ah, that.
Okay, now try. Now go to
It seems like
the
you're
other
pretty
side.
nice. How's it going? Yeah,
Close that. File save as like save in the file.
What is with this? That's weird.
It's just
you're joking.
Once you tell the.
Now hide that gradient cell layer. Now click on it. Okay, so I thought
You showed us somewhere.
to do like that.
I tried that.
Yeah.
Like,
Step on the body. Hey.
Yeah.
Lost.
Okay, and you can see it. Create type. Yeah.
Look at the awesome.
Okay, I think it's a Star Photoshop. Let's close out completely.
It's the girl who has biggest. Who has the biggest. Who has the biggest. So, Joe, I don't like that.
This is part of it.
No, I don't think.
Okay. Sorry, I don't want
You
to
said that.
say. Okay, so it looks like I have neglected a step, but that's okay. We can definitely go back. We have our trees floating outside of the ground. So we have to go fill in the ground. And we're going to create the ground using our brush, okay, with that same dark color. A simple round hard brush, hardness set to 100 with a nice clean edge. So when I'm going to move everything out of the way, I'm going to go to the brush tool, use my brush preset, come back up to the very top where we're used to operating, and I'm going to choose hard round, and this is way too large, so I'm going to use those brackets and decrease the size. Going to decrease the size a lot. And then I'm going to come in and create, I'm going to create the ground. So I'm going to start here.
These trees too big.
Like it's not like
That's the all over.
I'm trying to get, and I am going to ditch that, Command Shift in. Let me go ahead and make a new layer that says ground. Make sure I have my opacity at 100. I'm even going to go smaller, so I'm going to bracket down. And then I'm going to start one smooth line. And then I'll go back and fill in. Okay, now I'm going to make another layer, Command-Shift-N, call it Moon. Make sure now, since I'm going to check my foreground and background, I'll do X on my keyboard to get my white foreground color. Come back to my brush preset. Instead of that hard round, I'm going to pop over to that moon, and ba-bam. I don't love the positioning of that, so I'm going to try again right here at this moon. And because I'm gonna Command T, because I really want, there, I want it to look just like that. So now I have done the bottom, or the ground, and then I have done the trees and the grove. And I have finished the moon. We are getting ready to do the second part of step 6, which is going to add a layer style. So I'm going to give you guys about a minute of wait time to add in some sort of a moon, and then we're going to all move together with the layer style to give it a nice outer glow.
Oh, what the what?
My dudes, it's like not from like this side.
Oh, yeah.
bad quality.
It's okay, yeah. That's so weird. That.
It does, it feels
Let me
great.
try
It does,
emailing
but
that file again.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
What do they do?
Okay, TV timeout. I'm going to email a student a file. Okay, yes. So I did, so go up to the very top of all of our brushes to get a hard round. So go up to the, use your pull, go back to brushes, you're good. Use your scroll on the right hand side. Scroll all the way up. And then click on the side of general. So go ahead and click on that arrow next to general. And then there's a hard round. So I did a black hard round that I did the edge first, and then I filled in. Okay? Good. That looks great. If you want to put the ground in front of those trees, you can also.
I kind of like how trippy it is.
Okay, I'm all over it. Okay, Reese, I'm going to do that on my laptop.
Okay.
Okay, 30 more seconds. We're going to add some layer styles.
My moon's black.
Because your foreground's black.
Lunch is at 35, right?
Yes, 12:35. Okay, everyone, the next step that we're going to do involves making sure you have your layers panel to do the layers, the layer style. So go ahead down to the 13th through the 17th. Oh, sorry, I'm doing that. Seeing that file. Okay, so everyone, make sure you navigate to the layer that you need for the moon. My particular layer is called Moon. And that's why it's good practice to practice naming those layers so you can go immediately to it. Then I'm going to go to this tiny little f of x. So I'm going to click on my moon layer. Then I'm going to go to the f of x on the bottom. And then choose blending options. Blending options. From here, I'm going to click in the gray and move it around so I can see the object I'm trying to put the layer style on. And then reminder, clicking in the box, actually only thing it does is apply it. It doesn't allow you to edit it. So I always get in the habit of clicking on the word outer glow. Watch this. Isn't that cool? And it adds an outer glow to your moon. So click on the word outer glow. You can change the opacity. You can change what it looks like, the size, the jitter. If you wanted a red outer glow for your moon for some reason, you could even do that.
help me with my one?
Sure, honey. 10 seconds and we get this file to read super fast. Okay, I just sent that ABR file, Reese, so you can take a look at that. Okay, yes. So it is black because your foreground's color is black. So come back in your brush tool.
Like all of them?
Well, whichever one you don't want. So
I
probably,
want. That's what you said.
okay, so come back like one level. Now, switch your color, hit X on your keyboard. That just switches the foreground and background, and now click once and it'll be white. Okay, so we have learned to go to our, ooh, I almost tripped, layer style, which is on our layers panel. We navigate to the layer we need to put a style on. Then we go to the F of X on the bottom, and then choose blending option. From here, you will choose outer glow or whatever you would like. You can even choose a color overlay. If you wanted a red moon, you could choose a color overlay. But for right now, I'm just going to do an outer glow. Okay, on the layer style, the little tiny F of X right down here on the layers panel.
Where?
On your layers panel, do you see the tiny little F of X on the very bottom?
Yep.
So click on that pull down and then go to blending options. And then clicking on the word will allow you to edit the option. Clicking on the box will just apply it. Okay.
Where's Hayer?
Yes.
Do you have AT&T on your phone?
No.
Okay, because I think the servers just went out.
Oh, really?
Because also my phone just stopped working.
Oh, that's kind of crazy.
Not working either.
Your phone's not working either? Woo!
Wait, do you have AT&T?
No, actually,
All right. So we just finished, if you're following along, step number 6. Okay, step number 6. And then there's also an option if you would like to go to even the styles panel. So go up to window, down to styles. And there's some crazy, crazy things you can make this into. Make it look like fur. Look, there's a zebra moon. There are some really crazy things you can do with different styles. And of course, we can import, just like anything else, we can go and import styles if you'd like. But I am going to come back out of that. So I'm going to go back to window to history, and I'm going to come back in to just a simple glow. All right, we are moving to the stars, everyone. We are moving to the stars. So we're moving to
How do I
step number 7 if you're following along.
how do I move moon glow though?
How do you move the moon glow?
No, make it. How do I make it?
Oh, make it glow. Click on the word outer glow on the bottom left-hand corner of that window.
Oh.
Now, if you want to, Tyler, click on the gray part of that dialog box of blending options and move it down so you can see what it's doing to the moon. Okay, number 7. Number 7. So we're going to add some stars in here. So again, because we're doing something new, I'm going to do Command-Shift-N, and I'm going to name this new layer stars, and then click OK.
I'm going to name this new layer stars and then click OK. So now instead of my moon brush, I'm going to go to my B tool, and then I'm going to go to my pull down and go to the bottom, and I am going to navigate to find some stars in the star shine or the star stealer. So I can put like one central star. No, I don't love that one. I'm going to go add like more of a I love these little stars. Those are so sweet. You could do one central star, or you can add lots of larger stars, smaller stars. You could add, I don't love that either. You could add different constellations. So now I'm going to do Command-Shift-N. And I'm going to go to some smaller stars. And I'm going to add in some, what looks like maybe some constellations. Hey, you can add however many stars you would like to your starry night sky. Huh, there's little things in there. Just experimenting. You can add different layers. Since I have broken these star layers into several different layers, I can even come down here to Constellation and go to my F of X, blending options, and I can add an outer glow to these particular stars. There we go. Get a little bit of glow action inside there. Okay, and so these stars look more realistic. I'm going to pop into these stars and even maybe change the opacity a little bit. I might even come instead of normal, choose some different, oh, I like that a lot. Choose some different layer styles in order to really put a lot of realistic touches. Realistic touches. Okay, and so you have created a starry night from scratch. Look at where you've come. From a blank canvas to this beautiful starry night atmosphere. Okay, in a couple minutes, I'm going to go ahead and demo now to make sure we save in the cloud and then we export as an image. And then I'll do this again in a couple minutes. So to make sure we save our great work, we're going to go File, Save As. Make sure that you save to the cloud for right now. And I'm going to type in 4th Hour Digital Design Demo. And I'm going to save this in the cloud. But then I also want to be able to put this in my blog post in my Wix website. So to do that, I'm going to go File, Export, Save for Web. Remember, Save for Web. And instead of that GIF, make sure that you're using JPEG Low, and click Save, JPEG Low, Save. And I know where it's going to my documents and images, and then I will have an image ready format in order to post to my Wix website. Okay, I'm going to turn off the video now, and then I will circulate to help.